The remedy. The remedy. What's underneath the situation you don't realize? So let's examine with a critical eye. Put on your glasses and let it magnify the truth that lies hidden under all those lies. Cause everybody has nobility, and if you look beyond what your eyes can see, you'll see they're just like you and me, and now we're giving you the remedy. Welcome to the Remedy Podcast. This podcast is a project of WEBB Squared, a North Carolina nonprofit that works to increase wealth for Black businesses through connection, network, and opportunity. Our host is Stephanie Terry, the Executive Director of WEBB Squared, and our co-hosts are Associate Director Rinnie and myself, Mashallah Salaam. I am the Media and Production Specialist. In this podcast, we hope to bring consciousness to the racial divide and speak on emerging new narratives about race. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you will enjoy the podcast.
All right, well, another Tuesday.
It's Podcast Tuesday, Stephanie.
It's Podcast Tuesday. It feels like forever since we did the last podcast.
I know, it was just a week ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Why
really?
does a week feel like 3 months? I think it's my life.
Well, you did some traveling.
That's right. My son, my baby, is in Cleveland, Ohio in school.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Can you believe it?
Starting his freshman year, huh?
Starting his freshman year. I forgot. I had the number in my head and then I forgot, but it's like 30-something years I've been raising children.
Wow.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
I can't even believe it. Do I look like it, y'all?
No, not at all.
You're lying. You being nice.
How does it feel to have an empty nest now?
It feels empty. Look, shout out to my wonderful husband. You know, I was in my son's room and I was like looking at all his stuff on the walls and his empty bed, and I started immediately thinking how I can turn it into a guest bedroom. So it's all those feelings. It's like, you know, excited for him, and then like, wow, now I have like, you know, all this time. So, and time is the one thing in life we cannot make more of.
That's
right?
true. We can make money, but we can't make time.
Exactly. So, anyway, it's just got me really, really reflecting on just, you know, what I'm going to be doing with my time. I guess I'm going to be doing more podcasts.
I'm here with you. I can't wait to do more podcasts.
So what about you, Rinnie and Mashallah? What y'all have going on?
Well, nothing too exciting or like different from just regular life.
What does that mean? That means, y'all, she ain't trying to tell y'all her business. You're gonna have to dish something. We need some tea, something.
Oh man, I didn't really think of any tea to spill though.
Next week. We'll get you next week.
Yeah. Rinnie, what about you?
Just been studying and researching a lot of stuff for the job, racial wealth gap information, you know, how to go into businesses and present ourselves to them. So that's what I'm doing a lot of.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we went to the Levitate office in Raleigh last week.
Woohoo! Big shout out to Levitate. First off, I had no idea Levitate was such a big company.
I know, right? They have over 130 employees.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I didn't know. Just is kicking butt.
I know. The thing that surprised me, though, maybe I shouldn't be surprised, is how young everybody looked.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're middle-aged women going into this company that has like 20-year-olds like all over the place.
Right.
I felt my age. Mashallah probably felt right at home since she's a millennial. But
it's funny because some of them even look younger to me. I was like, are they still in college?
And, you know, corporate offices in the 80s, like, well, the 80s.
Yeah.
But it was like everyone was in suit and ties and women had on, you know, pumps. They call them pumps. pumps and skirts and stockings, and now it's like jeans and sneakers, and casual Friday is every day. And what did you see all the snacks?
They had lots of, and the beanbag chairs. That what we've seen on TV about Google. I felt like I was walking into Google because people were sleeping in their.
Right.
Should I not mention the alcohol in the fridge?
But you know what? They're getting it done. It's a great app. We use it to communicate with all of our clients and community that we're building. So we're excited to be partnering with them.
Yeah, we are so powered. I use their app like every day to be in touch with our people. So Levitate, y'all.
Check it out.
They're partnering with us. They have a good social justice program that they're trying to develop, and we're really excited about the partnership.
Yep, I think it's levitate.ai.com. I think that's it. So, our topic for today, we're going to be talking about resilience. I didn't introduce that the way I wanted to, but hey, that's what we're talking about, resilience. And why are we talking about resilience, Rinnie?
We're talking about resilience because at our work here at WEBB Squared, we know that even with starting a nonprofit, that we know that if you're going to start a business and it's a new endeavor for you, you have to have resilience. You have to have resilience for when things go wrong, and when the world is crazy with like a worldwide pandemic and social upheaval and stuff. You just have to get up every morning and have resilience. And that's what we have to have starting the nonprofit. And that's what we have to give our WEBB Squared entrepreneurs, a sense that they can get up every morning and take one step in front of the other and do what they need to do to keep going so that their business is successful.
Yeah, and we'll go into that, whether you can give resilience or teach resilience, or that's just something that's like innate. What does resilience mean to you, Mashallah?
Well, resilience to me means just like having faith to overcome whatever you're going through and to keep going when things seem difficult.
Yeah, especially when we start talking about race and resilience, right? And this is actually, we picked this topic because Rinnie and I were talking about race and resilience. And, it's a word that has like the connotation of like, oh, look how strong, you get these narratives about strong Black women and, being a strong Black family in the face of racism, and, just how resilient our Black people have been in the face of racism, or in the face of hardships, or in the face of economic, not just Black people, just like through hard times. And I was like, you know what? I have like my own kind of non-defined meaning of resilience based on like feelings and emotions. But I said, let me actually look up what the word means. And it says here, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties or toughness. And it's like, okay, from that perspective, how resilient are we really? Because just because you get through something, that doesn't mean you recover from that experience. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get through a lot of, I was about to curse. I don't know. We're not going to curse. I was going to say, we can get through a lot of S-H-I-T. That's alphabet cursing. But that doesn't mean you actually recover, from it. It just means that you were able to get through it. What do y'all think about that?
Well, I think that there's some truth to that because we have, in our culture, I know so many people who struggle with post-traumatic stress syndrome, and they have gone through it. They did survive it. They still get up every morning. They put one foot in front of the other, but they can be triggered so quickly because of the experience they went through that they haven't. I think that this is tied into that notion of traumatic stress, and it's ingrained in so many people so deeply that every day is a struggle.
Yeah.
even though they are still getting up every morning, they have that struggle.
Yeah.
In terms of my own experience, well, just going through certain things and then watching how it affects the way that I interact now, and also looking at friends and their experiences and how it affects the way that they interact with people or see things. And it's like, although you might get through a difficult situation or time, I feel like it does still have long-lasting effects.
Mm-hmm.
And we tend to think, oh, because you went through it and you're still here, you're stronger. But sometimes it doesn't always make you stronger. Sometimes you have to just take some time to really reflect on how it has changed you or affected you. And then that starts another process of healing.
Absolutely. You know, I was talking about taking my son off to school, and really, you know, when I came home and I was just kind of sitting there, just kind of, I don't know, numb. But then I was like really weepy. I've been weepy all week, and I've been remembering just like the journey of what it was like to, you know, be married and divorced and then a single parent, and just like all the things that I had to go through to be a mom and get my children up, and which were, you know, some were traumatic, you know, some things were just psychologically tough, physically straining. And while I got through it, you know, yeah, it changed me, you know. And so this resiliency, then I think about like some of the things, you know, oh my God, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole just yet. But I will say this is the other issue that I have with resiliency is, especially when you're talking about resiliency and racism,
Mm-hmm.
is that, you know, how dysfunctional is it to continue to tell Black people, people of color, that, you know, teach them how to be resilient, and we do nothing about the issues that are making them have to be resilient. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That would be like if you were counseling a woman or somebody that was in an abusive relationship, like teach them how to be in that relationship, how to stay in it, how to, you know, deal with the challenges, and never address the person doing the abusing or the environment. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that gets missed a lot when we talk about resiliency and racism.
I just have a lot of thoughts swarming in my head, so I'm trying to
share.
That was a really good point about relating it to someone who's in an abusive relationship. And if you were to say, oh, let me just teach you how to deal with it and be in that relationship, which actually happens a lot. I feel like that is our relationship with society and living in this world, really, because it happens everywhere. There's injustice everywhere, and we're constantly told to just toughen up.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like that is damaging because you're not really looking at the real causes or how to change the system. You're just really putting the blame on yourself for not being tougher or strong enough to handle a situation. So you just turn a blind eye to the people who are actually causing whatever you're going through and saying, maybe I need to change. And I feel like that's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And could that be, I mean, we've talked a little bit about the deliberate nature of these systemic problems, that's part of the deliberateness of creating structures that keep people from actually looking at the structure itself because they're so busy just trying to survive and stepping out of their bed every day and raising to the challenge of just living, that they don't have the energy or the wherewithal to actually question the structure that's causing this situation.
Yeah, and yeah, they don't have the energy or they defer the energy, right? I have many postulates which are unconfirmed theories, about why don't we question the structures and systems that are creating the conditions and environments that people have to be resilient through. But behind the powerful structures and systems are people. But anyway, I was going to finish my thought. So I don't want, in this talk about resilience and, the conditions that people have to become resilient to, and how we often want to teach resilience, especially to Black people, people of color, instead of putting energy on dismantling the structures and systems and policies that are causing these harmful and abusive environments that people live in. While I want to lift that up, at the same time, I also want to lift up that people, we also have the power, right, to, in spite of our environment, change conditions and be resilient with a whole nother framework. Right, coming from a place of deep conviction and belief systems and faith, and acting on that faith to then create the experiences that we want to have. And a great example of that is a powerful, revolutionary, resilient Black woman entrepreneur named Clara Brown. And Mashallah, can you share a little bit more about Clara Brown?
Yes. Clara Brown was born in Virginia around 1800. She was enslaved and actually married at 18 and had 4 children. But around age 35, the plantation owner died and her family was torn apart and sold to different slave owners. She was taken to Kentucky, but at the age of 56, she was freed and told to leave, so she traveled to Denver, Colorado. She ended up living in a town called Central City, Colorado, where she did various jobs such as cooking. She even established a successful laundry business during the Colorado Gold Rush, and she was also a midwife. But her work didn't stop there. She actually used the money she made to invest in property and mines in neighboring towns. She was said to own building lots in Denver, houses in Central City, and mines in Boulder, Georgetown, and Idaho Springs. She even was a founding member of a Sunday school where people could go to her home for prayer and community support. And she also funded the construction of St. James Methodist Church. She was a true humanitarian as well as businesswoman, and after the Civil War, around 1866, she had accumulated $10,000 and used her investment money to travel to Kentucky in search of her daughter, Eliza, who was actually one of the 2 children still living at the time, and also the only child that she had the possibility of tracking. And sadly, she was unable to find her daughter at that time, but paid for several Black families to move to Colorado for new opportunities and jobs. And amazingly, in 1882, she was finally reunited with her daughter, Eliza, and her granddaughter, and the cheerful reunion was even documented in the paper. Eliza actually passed away peacefully in her sleep October 26 in 1885, and she was inducted into the Colorado Women's Hall of Fame in 1989 and even had an opera written about her.
Wow.
I really enjoyed looking up the details of the story. There were so many articles about her on the internet. I highly recommend that people go out and look her up. She's got a beautiful picture on the internet, and she's just a fantastic, fabulous woman to research and to learn more about.
Yeah, and I just think about how many more stories, of just really resilient human beings, Black Americans, in particular. This podcast is about race and new narratives. So just how many more stories about just the lives of ordinary people doing incredibly extraordinary things, from a sense of power, and resilience. Okay, so there's a spider.
Yeah. I was freaking out. I was like,
climbing right in front of Rinnie, and Rinnie's not going to kill it because why, Rinnie?
Because we are all about creating ecosystems of connection, and we use the spider web as part of our identity as a nonprofit. And I'm just fascinated with the idea that I'm watching a spider climb up its like little silky thread, and while we're doing this work of building connections.
That's the white version. So the
I was like, that's all nice and dandy and everything, but can we at least take it outside?
The black version is energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It just changes form. So you're about to go back to the to source energy because you're in my space right now.
And it's not a poisonous spider, and it's moving upward.
All right, Rinnie. Well, it's over you, so it's your space.
Okay.
So you
All
can.
It looks like it can swing anyway, but okay.
It looks like it'll bite me, and I'll get itchy hives.
It's not a biting spider. It's moving upward.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's great. Yeah. So look it up, Clara Brown. Clara
Yeah.
Brown. Look her up. Check her out.
And feel free to chime in on our social media and let us know what you believe is what you think about resilience and these themes. We would love to get your opinion for on this topic.
Yeah, we've got a Facebook page now. Thank y'all. We got 87 likes, I think.
Oh no, it's way over 100 now.
It's way over 100?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what we'll do is we'll put some links up for Clara Brown today, right? Also, stay tuned for our next podcast. We're going to keep on this topic of resiliency. So today we did resiliency past, and our next podcast, we're going to lift up a resilient entrepreneur present, and then we'll do one of our WEBB Squared entrepreneurs for resilient entrepreneurs future.
If you enjoy the podcast and you would like to have early access to the episodes, or you want to support us to get a shout out for you or your business on the podcast, or you're interested in receiving bonus episodes or joining us in the conversation as we build out these conversations, then join us on Patreon, become a Patreon subscriber.
Yes.
We will post links on how to do that on our Facebook and social media pages.
Yes. So as usual, we're going to end by saying this: the revolution begins with dialogue, y'all. We got to talk. We got to talk to one another.
Be in conversation with us. Let us know what you think.
All right. Have a fantastic Tuesday, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been a joint podcast of WEBB Squared and Afro Future Productions. For those of you interested in learning more about our work at WEBB Squared, you can find out more at webbsquared.org. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. This is our conscious conversation. We hope you will subscribe today on your favorite podcast platform. Join the Remedy Membership Forum on Patreon to join us monthly for our members-only discussion. That's it for today. Until next week, thanks for listening.
What's underneath the situation you don't realize. So let's examine with a critical eye. Put on your glasses and let it magnify the truth that lies hidden under all those lies. Cause everybody has nobility, and if you look beyond what your eyes can see, you'll see they're just like you and me, and now we're giving you the remedy. The remedy.